Tottenham always lose at the Emirates, yeah? Save this, blood. Save this, fam. I'm telling you, blood, these man are getting turned over, fam. Just know.
Oh, Everett, blood. Don't give Everett space. Don't give Everett space. Don't give Everett space. Don't let Sparty shoot! Oh, fucking no, my God. Just knew the fucking shit was gonna happen, bruv. Where did he get that from? Where did he get that from? Where did he get that from? Where did he get that from, blood? Oh, all the space in the world, fam. That Ghanaian Buzz Lightyear, fam. All the space in the world. All the space. Ghanaian astronauts now, blood. All the space in the world, fam. All the space in the world to let him shoot. Of course, blood. Of course. Of course. And now look at these, man. Look at these sausage, man. What are they doing, bruv? Oh, whatever, fam. Whatever, bruv. Whatever, man. Whatever. 1-0 down. 1-0 down already, fam. And what a goal from Park. Bruv, Lloris had no chance. No chance. Look at the amount of space you give this man. You'd think he didn't have a right foot, blood. Like, why has he got that much room? What's going on? What are we, hotels, blood? What's going on? 2-1 down. 2-1 down. Why, man? Just so easy, bro. Just gift them that. Just fucking gift them that. Why don't you? Gift them that. Just gift them that. How did man not even get that? How, from that bullshit? How? How did they score from that? How? How? How's that even possible, bruv? Oh, Lloris just punched it right back out. What kind of fucking joke thing was that as well? That's a joke thing, blood. Absolute joke thing. Absolute joke thing, blood. Absolute joke. Get me now, man are calling me. Man that can't name 11 Arsenal players are phoning me, blood. Allow it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Man that Lloris, that was a joke. Shut up, man, you bozos. Get up, man. Had enough, blood. Get up, blood. Get up, blood. Get up, bruv. They better not VAR this, blood. They're VAR in this. Oh my days, blood. He's been sent off. Oh my day, you fucking idiot, blood. You fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. Get him out now. Fuck this guy, blood. Get him out. Bro, you know the amount of time I don't want to see this guy and it takes him getting red carded, fam, for me not to see this puss. Whatever, man. Fucking hell, blood. What an idiot, blood. What an idiot. What an imbecile, bruv. What an imbecile, blood. What an imbecile. Here we go. We're just going to get opened up now. Opened up at will, blood. Opened up at will, blood. Opened up at will, blood. Yep, 3-0, blood. 3-0, 3-1, 3-1. You know them way there. 3-1, bloods. Fucking 3-1, blood. 3-1. 3-1, blood. Alright, whatever, man. Whatever, blood. Whatever, blood. Whatever, fam. Whatever. Whatever. Whatever, man. Dickheads, blood. Of course, blood. Of course. Of fucking course, blood. Of course. Of course. Of course, blood. Of absolutely course, blood.
He said save it, so I came with the receipts.
Oh dear, that's funny.
Welcome back, everyone. Back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast, North London derby. We've won again. Surprise, surprise. Xhaka's redemption arc is complete. Tottenham are in the mud. Jamie Howe's in the mud. Expressions is in the mud. All the Tottenham clan in the mud, basically.
Getting battered wherever they go.
Quite literally. As you can see, guys, we are joined by Andrew again. How you doing? It's been a while, my friend.
Yes, yeah, it has been a while, mate. So it's good to be back. Yeah, I'm doing all right, mate. Doing all right. How can you not be? A few days after winning the North London derby.
Yeah, my throat's still hurting 2 days later.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh dear. Big up to Steve and got Nemeth in the chat as well. How you doing, guys? Hope you're keeping well, and everyone else coming in. Hope to see contributing to chat. But basically, yeah, been a while, and as I say, 8 games in now, top of the league still by a point. It is by a point. But remind people of that. But 8 games in, 7 wins, 1 defeat.
I know, it's mad.
We've reached the magic 20-point mark already.
I know, and yeah, I mean they've said any teams that have been on 20 plus points at this stage of the season has always finished in the top 4. So, touch wood.
Marty didn't like that.
Touch wood. I know. So that was amazing, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
let's hope it stays that way. But yeah, I mean, we're not aiming it for top 4 anymore. Anyway,
Fuck it. We're the top.
That's like exactly. Exactly. Yeah. We sort of said earlier on in the season, why can't this be another Leicester type year where something amazing happens? Why not? Let's believe. Let's believe that it could go that way because we're playing good. We're playing well enough, and the only team that getting all the headlines is obviously because of the cyborg they've got up front. Manchester City keep getting all the headlines all the time, but and they just say, they just skip over the fact that we're actually sitting above them in the league at the moment. So let them carry on. Let continue to go under the radar.
Well, this is the thing over the weekend. Obviously, we're ecstatic we won. The performance from Arsenal as a whole, we dominated from the first second to the end. We dominated. I don't get what they had a brief 3 minute period where they tried
after the penalty.
Yeah, and then that was it. We dominated them, and then people going, "Oh, but the red card changed the game." It's because it was 2-1. Was you watching the same game as everyone else was watching? We absolutely we controlled the game. Period. We played at the home team. We took the game to them. They tried. Literally, I was there. I'm in block 4. Kickoff starts. They're kicking the game off, and they literally pass it back, and they hoof it to us and go, "Come at us." It's like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
When Partey scored, and it was like, "Oh." When you watch Partey's goal back as well, and you see he's not even when he's hit it. He's on the outside of the post. So as he's hit it, it's curled away even further away from the post and gone in. So it makes it even.
Yeah.
It's about time. It took him 2.5 years to get an actual shot of his foot on target.
Yeah, don't you remember? Well, I could put it on the WhatsApp. I said he was saving it for Spurs.
Yeah.
It was a season later, but he did miss that game against Spurs. But he did save it for Spurs. He did save it for Spurs. Bless him. And what a better way for it to go in. But yeah, well, what a goal. I mean, that got glossed over as well, through the highlights. They didn't really say much about it. What an amazing goal that was. But yeah, it was an incredible hit, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. The way for me, it's a way to wrap his foot around it and controlled it first time. Didn't even take a touch. Ben White passes it after him. He just runs onto it and hits it first time. Wraps his foot around it to allow what happened to happen.
It's a side foot shot which went in like a bullet. Yeah, I mean, to get that much power on a side footed shot that came to him sideways. We didn't even run onto it. He just strolled up to it and whacked it with his right. It's amazing, and it went straight into the postage stamp. But it looked like it curled that much. It looked like it went in, sort of more to the middle of the goal, didn't it? But it wasn't. It was like pinpoint. It was unbelievable.
Pins, yeah. But no, it was. And again, I said this yesterday. I was doing a stream yesterday, and Neil popped into the chat, and we were just chatting about the game as well, and in general about my feelings about Arsenal. I'm like, to a man yesterday, there's not one player you can say that started or came off from the bench, or you can say they were carried. Every player to a man for Arsenal turned up and put a performance in.
Yeah.
And for the first time in a long time, we keep saying it, we've got a squad of players we love. We can all love as a collective, not individuals like Alexis Sanchez and things like that. It's a collective that just bring that feel good factor. I mean, Zinchenko, after the game when he was leaving, he's going down the road towards the Tollington, and his wife, whilst he's waiting, the wife's popping out celebrating. He's there taking selfies, waiting for the lights and all the time. But he's there, she's celebrating it all as well with the fans at the pub as well. And then the next day, the Manchester Derby, he pops in and watches the Manchester Derby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know that because obviously the Tottenham put a post up on Facebook about it. Like he actually turned up to watch the North London Derby in their pub. Again, you don't really see that nowadays. Usually keep to themselves away from all that.
That's unbelievable. That's brilliant.
And yeah, it's good. I'm loving this moment. I can't believe I'm still saying this. It's uncomfortable to gone through all these years of having to do the odd negative podcast because of the bad result performances, etc., etc. We're being too positive now. For this channel, it's too uncomfortable.
There's nothing to be negative about at the moment, is there? I mean, even after the Man United game, after the Man United game, I wasn't. Of course, I was really disappointed to lose, but you can't say that was really pissed off or angry about it or anything like that, because we all saw with our own eyes that we still outplayed Man United. We just got sucker punched with a couple of stupid goals, which we were all worried about. Let's face it, coming up to the Spurs game, the same sort of thing could have happened. But we learnt our lessons and completely controlled the game. But even after that game, I didn't let myself get too disheartened because we were playing so well. So there's very little to be disappointed about or negative about at the moment, which is just fantastic. I mean, like you said, for the whole squad, all the players that are playing games at the moment, you can't knock any of them. It's amazing, really. I mean, I heard on the I think it was on the Arsenal Vision podcast we were listening to earlier on that I can't remember exactly how many minutes he was on the pitch, but people like Sambi, when they came on, he had about 20-odd minutes on the pitch, made 28 passes, and he completed every single one of them. And all of the substitutes came on, and they were all in the 90-plus pass completion rate, winning tackles, and all playing a part, you just said. And it's just wonderful to see. And right from the moment we kicked off, apart from that, 5 minutes or so around a penalty, we dominated the game completely. And it took all the nerves away, didn't it? I mean, they don't quite disappear when you're playing Spurs. And it probably took Xhaka's goal, which I'm sure we'll come on to in a bit later, to properly calm the nerves. But throughout the game, I just wasn't as anxious as I normally am watching a North London derby because we're playing such good football. And luckily, the good football won at the end of the day. Good triumph over evil.
For once.
Because their football is awful, isn't it? I mean, let's just face it. They're just dreadful.
How them lot can sit at their toilet bowl or away from home, week in, week out, supporting that sort of, liking that sort of football. It is sickening to watch. It's disgusting, but I'm not complaining because they, as I said, they kicked off, passed it, literally a couple of passes, and hoofed it to us, and it's basically saying, "Come on in, we're going to defend and see what we can counter attack you." They did. I mean, Son, I didn't know. I forgot he was on the pitch. And when he went off, I was like, "Oh, he's still on the pitch." I honestly didn't know he was playing at all. Kane, apart from the penalty, no service, no nothing. Dickhead as well, shoving and kicking Gabriel in the back and in his stomach as well on the way down. That doesn't get talked about though because it's Harry Kane.
No,
he's England captain, can't do that. And Richarlison was just diving all over the place and crying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, I honestly do think that it is coming. People will probably laugh at me or whatever because they're still high in the table and that was their first defeat of the season. But I still think that these players are going to get really pissed off with the way they're being asked to play before too long. And as soon as that starts happening, Conte's going to be a dead man walking. He's just going to go because as soon as he gets a player revolt, you know what he's like. You just throw them all under the bus, and because you're getting players like Son and Richarlison on the other side. They were having to track back, and they were being kept busy by Martinelli and Saka on the wings throughout the whole game. They were having to run all the way back, and they're spending their time in their own half, on the edge of their own box, and they're just going to get. They're not going to want to do that, And I can only see ending in tears. Probably before this season ends as well. I still don't think that Conte's going to last too much. Probably may end up, going after Christmas at some point, or if not, at the end of the season. I can't see it going for too much longer. Really.
Well, in terms of Conte, there is rumours that Juventus are contemplating pulling the trigger on Allegri because it hasn't started off well there this season. They're in a rebuild, but they're not happy how the season started, and there's talk that they are thinking of approaching Conte, bringing back.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Contemplating it.
It'd be very, very unlike Juventus because they don't tend to fire during the season. I heard, I can't remember who it was now. It was on one of the Athletic podcasts or something they were talking about, and even Pirlo, Pirlo that was absolutely doing dreadful. They don't make the change throughout the season. They wait until the summer.
Until the end of the season, don't they? Normally.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it won't happen, but it is very, very unlike them.
Yeah,
and I'd love it to happen. Let's face it. I mean, we'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh, Tottenham! Tottenham think they got a world-class manager like Mourinho, and look what happened there. No,
yeah.
But going back to what you said before about players learning from the mistakes of obviously, we mentioned Manchester United this season, but in general, I think I said it yesterday in the show. It's like for the players that were here last season, not the ones that came in obviously, but the ones that were here last season and went through that pain of what happened at the end of the season. It's like as a collective, along with Arteta, they've come together and they harnessed that pain, and they're going at their way now to right the wrongs of what happened last season.
Yeah,
they want to prove everyone wrong.
Well, that's what Ramsdale said, wasn't it, in the interview he did? It's been all over the place today. He said it's the fire in the belly that came from last season. That started as soon as they came in for pre-season this season. It was just there. He said that whole every player in training, the whole level lifted, not just because of the new signings either, but because of the experience that all the players went through last season. It's just put the fire in the belly to make it better. And I mean, it's a great interview if you get a chance to read it or listen to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really is. It's made the world of difference. And that pain that everyone went through last season, including all the fans, as well as the players, obviously, it will make the joys of this season so much better. And so it will taste so much sweeter
and it's
off the back of that.
And so, yeah, it's also, I think that as well, but to the fans, I think what you just mentioned is a main contributor to the way the atmosphere has been for every game, home and away this season, especially at the Emirates. Against no matter who we play, we've seen it, you've heard about it. The Fulham, the celebrations against Fulham, Aston Villa, Leicester City, even though we're not allowed to celebrate, by the way. But that's the one thing that didn't happen this weekend. We were told we could celebrate by the idiot over in the other
one that needs to retire. Yeah, I know. Yeah. The one that was sent out of the country.
Yeah, the one that was literally sent packing from Sky. Yeah, but it is what it is. But no, it's just, I think, as you say, as a collective, you mentioned the fans, that has been a major contributing factor then looking at the way us as fans are approaching match days now, home and away. Away fans have always been fantastic, as we know. Loud, proud, etc. Whereas the home fans, years gone by, it always seemed to be the big games that make a noise and break a ruckus and all that. But it's not. Now it's like every game, because again we believe. Again, for myself, from my own perspective, I'm going into games now, no matter who we play, Tottenham, Liverpool, eventually City, home or away, and I believe we can win. I believe I believe we can get something. We can cause a stir against these teams, against the odds, because of how the media put us down, basically. And I haven't had that in a long time, and I'm enjoying it. And I don't get. And like I said yesterday, yes, we're top of the league, 8 games in. Basically, it does seem like we're going to be the only team to push City by the looks of it. If anyone's going to push them, it's going to be us by the looks of it. But I'm enjoying us being top 4 what it is. Because at some point, I fully expect City, because of Haaland, unless Haaland gets a big injury 2-3 months out.
Well, that's what I was wanted to say. They've got rid of Sterling. Obviously, they got rid of Jesus, thankfully. And they've got Haaland now. And apart from him, if he goes down for an injury, which he's quite well known to do,
Yeah,
he was out for quite a while.
quite a while last season, the year before that.
Exactly. So if and when they lose him, who have they got really to score the goals? They've got Foden, who had that was his first hat trick ever. Yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I think.
Yesterday. Yeah.
And you've got the other regulars that sort of chip in every now and then, but they haven't got a proper goal scorer anymore.
No.
So if and when that happens, I mean, they're going to struggle just because there's so many Arsenal fans that always got the glass half empty rather, and say, well, what about if we lose him? What about if we lose him? Or what about if we lose him? Every club's the same. I mean, look what happened to Liverpool when they lost Van Dijk for the season a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah,
they just about scraped top 4, and then I could see City not being as relentless. Let's put it that way. They won't be as relentless if they lost Haaland for any significant length of time. So, I think we can still, keep up with them sort of points wise, keep on their coattails, and as long as we can stay in the top 2, top 3 push, come the World Cup, then I think we could have a really good chance in the next year towards the running. And hopefully, if things go all right for Smith Rowe, touch wood, he gets a speedy recovery after his hospital visit, after his surgery. Yeah, and he could just be our secret weapon in the new year. A fit and firing and highly, highly motivated Smith Rowe coming back into the team from January onwards. That could really be a massive bonus to us, He could be a secret weapon coming in. Because obviously, look what happened last season when he got his chance before, in the early start of last year when he's scoring all those goals. I mean, if he could come back and do that for us in the new year, that would be huge.
It would be, and I'm of the mindset in terms of us being between us now in the World Cup. If we beat Liverpool on Sunday, I was saying to someone earlier, this has turned out to be a good week for us. We've got no travelling to do. We was at home on Saturday, we're home Thursday, we're home on Sunday. No travelling, so, and with the opponent we've got on Thursday, full due respect to them, Bodo, Glyn, whatever they're called, we can rest certain players. We can rest Azazis and starting Eddie. We can rest Aparte and put Sambi in along Xhaka or play Partey and Sambi and rest Granit, whatever way round they want to do it. We can rest Saliba and Gabriel and put Holding in and whoever else. We can rest Ben White, give Tomiyasu some minutes and Tini some minutes. We've got the facilities to rest key players and give them that midweek off so they're fresh for the Premier League game.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't go wholesale on it if I could help it. I definitely want to rest all the main players.
We've got the opportunity to give some players a bit of better
absolutely,
time.
Yeah.
Especially they've just come back from a knock before the international break.
Yeah, definitely we need to rest him. But I mean, there's certain players that I wouldn't want to rest wholesale, and because we can't underestimate Bodo Glimt. They're a really progressive, good team. They obviously we all know their shocks they've pulled off in the past, like beating Jose's Roma 6-0. And they've already drawn with PSV, who everyone thinks are our main rivals for finishing top in this group. And they've had some really good other results. Got a good manager.
Yeah.
So we can't underestimate them because we need to win this group. So, but what we could do, hopefully, we can try and get a 2 or 3-0 lead on
Yeah.
Thursday and then bring the rest of the players off.
Yeah.
That'd be the ideal way to go. But yeah, I mean, players like Partey, I wouldn't play him at all. I wouldn't play Jesus. Just I'd have him on the bench, but I wouldn't play him. But yeah, I think we do need to completely rotate, but take off. If we do have to play some of the main players, like some of the defenders, for example, try and get the lead and bring them off after 60 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Stephen's put in the chat about when I was talking about Man City. City didn't have a striker last season, and they still scored the most goals. Yeah, but they got rid of Sterling and Jesus. That's the point I made. And they never really replaced them, have they? They only replaced them with obviously only Haaland, but I mean they're 2 for the 1. But I'm not talking about if they lose to Haaland as well now, then that's a lot of goals they've lost.
Then they're relying on Bernardo Silva, either play a false 9, like Bernardo Silva or someone like that, who's a very small, dank player compared to a Haaland's big physical, demanding striker. Or the other striker they've got, Alvarez, who's barely played this season. Came on yesterday because they're walking it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not saying I still expect them to walk the league. I'm not saying that they're going to crash and burn, but it could get a bit interesting if they do lose Haaland.
It would help make the title race interesting. If that's the case, as long as we're winning.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But
you still finish top scorer if you never played another game, probably this season.
We've gone 14 already. I've got 50 quid coming my way. My brother said before the season started, Haaland will not reach 14 goals this season. He's already hit 14.
You're joking.
Games. No, honestly. He honestly thought Haaland would need a season to bed in, and then he would hit all guns blazing next season.
No chance. Not with all those players around him. No way.
So I've already got that coming my way. I'm happy about that. He wasn't. Especially after 8 games, he's thinking, for fuck's sake, give me a chance. No, but I was going to say, in terms of Liverpool, if we go, obviously we play that game on Sunday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, evening, whatever you call it. We by full time have won that game with the fixtures we've got between now and the World Cup, and the way them teams are performing. I'm not fearful of Chelsea. I think we can put them to the side where they're not. I know Grant and Potts just come in, but they got lucky on Saturday. Is all I'm going to say. Certain situations, but I honestly think if we beat Liverpool on Sunday, we will be within first or second by the time the World Cup comes along.
Yeah,
or obviously the break and all that. That's my opinion, because again, the teams we've got don't seem like they give us any problems, because we, as I say, the form we sort of, as I say, that all that pain we can't, as I say, you mentioned about pre-season. We won every game in pre-season, I believe. Like
we did, yeah.
Pitch in front of fans, not including the game behind closed doors, and we've carried that form into the season, and we just seem a team possessed. We don't seem to want to have any. There's no let up. Even that game we did lose, it was only 2 moments where we switched off defensively that allowed United to win that game. If we'd been on it, I'm fully convinced we would have gone on to win that game.
Yeah, I'm convinced if we play them another 10 times, we'll win 9 of them as well.
No, exactly.
That's how frustrating it is, but never mind. What's done is done. We learned from it. That's the good thing.
That's the thing, and this is the thing that myself, Gary, are discussing, and we were a bit concerned about when we lost to United, was how are they going to react now? Because last season when we lost, it went on a run of another 2 or 3 games of defeats before we picked up again out of nowhere. And it's something they've learned from. I think the European game that midweek against Zurich, even though what happened obviously with the Queen, when that news came out. Was it that? Was it after? Yeah, it was that, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And we again, there's a few changes as well. Only a few changes, obviously. But we used that game to bounce back. So come Brentford on the Sunday, we weren't coming into the game on the back of a defeat, on the back of a win. and we all know what happened at Brentford.
Mm.
So again, it's not another positive. Again, we've learnt from last season, and again, I'm loving it. And going back to the game as well. We obviously were 1-0 up, we're coasting. They get the penalty. He obviously scores it as he does. The defending should have been clear. For me, I was at that end. It was a poor first touch from Xhaka that put Gabriel in that situation. Gabriel tried to retrieve it, but it was that's a split second late. Otherwise, he would have been fine. But I'm not going to blame anyone because it's just a freak of nature where the ball just hit off Xhaka's leg. I'm not going to go at him or nothing.
No, they always get a penalty, mate. They always get a penalty.
Yeah. And Gabriel was just trying to do his job, but he just, again, split second, and that was the difference in that. But again, fans, right, okay, we're going to have a go at him for scoring and celebrating because he's an Arsenal fan playing for Tottenham. But right, now, come on, Arsenal, we'll get behind you again. And again, the players are feeding off that. And they didn't. Like years gone by, they didn't let it get to them. The goal going in. They just went, okay, dust ourselves down. We're going to fucking go for this again. And then, obviously, 3 minutes into the second half, Jesus. Again, I keep saying this week in, week out. If we'd had him last year, we're in top 4. Period. He's doing things in the box. He has shown in every way that he's a hungry striker that wants to prove Pep wrong.
Ian Wright, Mark too.
Yeah.
Said it straight away.
He is fighting for every ball in that box, no matter where it is.
Well, we don't score that goal last season.
No.
Simple as. We wouldn't have anyone there.
No, exactly.
He is our nearest striker that we've ever had to Ian Wright. It's just a godsend. I mean, him and Saliba, I think, have both beaten anyone's wildest dreams about the impact they've made to this team. Straight away, it's just unbelievable, really, isn't it? And absolutely love him. Love Jesus. He's infectious. His attitude, it's just unbelievable. So yeah, I totally agree. But I mean, I was just going to say about the World Cup. Is anyone who's a Premier League fan looking forward to this World Cup? I can only ever see it as just a pain in the arse of getting in the way of proper football. I mean, I know, but that's stupid because I normally love the World Cup, but this shouldn't be a World Cup. This should not be happening.
No.
And I can only see it as a big distraction and a pain because all I want it to be is outdone and out the way, and for all our players to get back unscathed. I couldn't care less about it, if I'm honest. Really couldn't, especially because we've got Gareth Southgate in charge.
Don't get me started on Gareth. That's for another show.
I know. Well, you know my feelings.
Yeah, everyone knows my feelings as well. Can't stand the guy. Absolute curious idiot.
And I've never changed my mind since the day he got the job, to be honest with you. He's the luckiest manager in the world. The luckiest manager ever to have lived, I think.
Well, I think his luck's about to run out in this World Cup. I think we're going to be embarrassed and he's going to get the sack.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But I couldn't care less about the World Cup.
I'm not looking. No, I've got nothing about it really. It's going to be there, but I'm not going to be like breaking my neck. Like if it was a normal World Cup in in the right place, by the way, in the summer.
Yeah,
like it normally it should be. Yeah, it's much more interesting because you ain't got the distraction of the Premier League. It's not like it's coming through for a season. This has been forced by FIFA to disturb everyone's season throughout the world. And it's ridiculous. I mean, looks like we're going to be in our stride, and then we're going to come to a grinding halt for a month and a half till Boxing Day for a Poxy World Cup that shouldn't even be where it's going.
I know, and it's not as if we're going to get a longer season to compensate for that. we're going to get a shorter amount of time to watch Arsenal. I know we get to watch all the same amount of games, but it's not the point, is it? I just think it's a massive inconvenience, a huge inconvenience. I'm really not looking forward to.
Well, especially with the FA still pushing ahead this season. With a World Cup, by the way, they're still going ahead in February with a bloody winter break. Like a circuit break, when you call it. It's ridiculous. And I'm not for it, but it is what it is.
But regarding our players, the good thing is with our players. Oh, hang on a second. What's going on here?
I'm fine on my end.
Oh, that's better. Sorry, I just touched my new earphones by mistake and it all went weird. Excuse me. I was going to say, regarding our players, we're in a fairly good position with regards to who's going to be going to the World Cup and the amount of minutes they might get whilst they're over there. I can't see many of our players being nailed on first choice starters for their countries that are going to be playing every minute. If you go through the team, obviously Aaron Ramsdale ain't going to play. Zinchenko, they did qualify, didn't they? Yeah, they beat Scotland in the playoff, so he'll be going. He'll be playing.
They beat Scotland, but they had to play Wales.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Otherwise, it'd be England v Ukraine. Yeah, so
he ain't going.
He
ain't going.
No.
Gabriel, we don't know whether he's going to go yet. Obviously, left out the last squad. So, yeah, big Gabriel. So we don't know about him. If he goes, he's only going to be third or fourth choice centre back, so he's not going to get any minutes hardly. Ben White, don't even get me started. Who else we got? Saliba may well be one of the first choice starters. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but he's going to be there or thereabouts, so he's one to worry about. Thomas Partey, who knows? Who knows whether he's going to play from one week to the next? He was absolutely unbelievable against Spurs, by the way. He's probably my man of the match. Absolutely loved him. But we'll have to wait and see with him whether he's going to be fit anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Granit Xhaka, he's like Duracell Bunny. He plays every single minute of every game that's going on around the world, so he's got no issues there anyway. But Saka, he's a bit in and out at the moment, but I should imagine he'll be a starter for Gareth Southgate if his form continues. He's one that we've got to worry about, that's for sure. Martinelli probably won't, if he goes, which is doubtful, probably won't be playing many minutes. And the same with Gabriel Jesus. If they don't take him, then they need their edge testing. And if he does go, then he's surely got to be a starter. But they've got a load of riches up front, haven't they, for Brazil? So we'll have to wait and see. He may not play every minute of every game. He may. So we're fairly lucky. We haven't got sort of that many. We've got 3 or 4 people that may play most minutes for their country in the World Cup that we've got to worry about. So I think other teams are going to be, a little bit more wary. I think Man United, Man City have got the most amount of players going, I think. Chelsea maybe. And Spurs have got a lot of players that play most of their minutes for their country. Especially one massive lump up front who kicks a lot of shit out of people and never always gets away. So we'll have to see, really. But that's by the by. I think it's bound to affect the league when it all comes back. God knows. I really don't want what to expect. Excuse me. I really don't know what to expect with the football when it comes back after the World Cup. I mean, so many players get a post-World Cup hangover. But whether that will happen because they've got to come straight back into the team and get straight back at it at 100 miles an hour from Boxing Day onwards, I don't know. It's never been done before, so we don't know what to expect, really, do we?
Here's the thing: for the countries that go do semi-finals onwards, for the players that go that far for their countries, they're literally getting a week off, and then they've got to be not even a week off. It's literally the World Cup ends, and you've got a week then for the season get back underway again. So you're going. They're going to be that first game, the first couple of games back in general, but that first game itself for all the clubs in the Premier League for example, they're going to be shattered, and you're going to see it.
Mm.
The ones that have gone deep, I mean, the ones that have gone out early might be a bit more refreshed because they've come home early and this, that, and the other. They've been keeping their training schedules and all that. But the ones that have gone deep, they're going to be affected most.
That's why I think we're slightly luckier because of who we've got going out there. I think, as I say, the main ones we've got to worry about is big one is Saka, obviously. Saka, Xhaka, Partey
Yep.
are the three main players we've got to worry about.
Yeah.
But we've got to worry about Partey anyway, regardless of the World Cup. So, yeah, and Xhaka, touch wood again, just, his injury record is fantastic, isn't it? So, really, just have to hope to God that he comes back. I mean, who thought we'd be saying that as well? Hope to God he comes back fit.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago, he's been jeered off the pitch. Sorry, he's given the V's, the bird sign, and all that. Telling fans to work the stick, it, this, that, and the other. Throwing the armband to the floor, throwing his shirt to the floor. Then when we have, as fans, having to wait a month or so before we got the apology thing in the programs and all that. And then obviously he was linked to Hertha Berlin. He was meant to be going to. Arteta convinced him to stay at that time. And then what's it most recently? Between then and not this summer, just gone last year's summer when he was linked to Roma. Well, I think most of the fan base was like, just fuck off, just go, because we'd had enough. Because even in the lockdown season, he was doing stupid things, grabbing players by the neck and getting sent off and letting the team down and this, that, and the other. And we'd had enough at that point. But it seems that the second he's been given, obviously he didn't go to Rome last year, he got given an extension, a new deal basically with Arsenal. And after the City game away last year, slowly and gradually he has got better. We have started to see the granite that we see for Switzerland, and what pissed us off so much beforehand. We're starting to see that on a more regular basis, and he's not letting us down. He is actually leading as one of the main figure points of the squad, leading every goal celebration, every goal we score, be it 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, whatever, when we get in the huddle. Him, Jesus are there giving the orders, like use our heads now, da-da-da-da-da-da. But he's leading by example on the pitch. We're actually seeing that now. And with that, and I think another thing while we're seeing in terms of his actual performances, is because he knows he's got someone in Partey he can rely on. That if he goes a bit forward, he's got someone like Partey behind him that can just protect the entire, be that link between the defence and him.
Exactly. And doesn't it make you wonder, right, if he'd have been playing like this in that position for the whole time he's been at Arsenal, what difference that could have made? Because it almost feels like we've lost and been robbed of like 3 or 4 years of Xhaka playing the football that he can play, by playing him out of position as a lone, pivot at the back in front of the central defence, letting people run at him left, right, and centre. I could just have nightmares about that Emery period where he was just the one at the back, where obviously all that happened with Crystal Palace and everything, and where all the fans were losing the rag with him because it made him look like a dreadful player, where he was just left so exposed at the back. And we know now that should have never happened with him. It was never his role. He played it, because this is all in hindsight. Obviously, we all went through that period and we all had our words to say about Xhaka. But we played him out of position. We left him that much exposed and just gave him all the shit for it, which was never his fault in the first place. And for him to come through all that, there's never a bigger redemption story in football. I put it on Twitter earlier. Is there ever a better redemption story in all of sport? For someone to come back the way he has and win back the fan base. I think that's unheard of. Absolutely unheard of for one player to turn around, 60,000 fans in the stadium and so many fans around the world to change their opinion on him is unrivaled, I think. And remember, they were going to make a film about Jamie Vardy after Leicester won the league,
Yeah, I
about his
remember that.
story. Can you imagine the film if Granit Xhaka managed to lead us to the league title this season?
Oh my god.
Can you imagine the story that would create? Going
Yeah.
back to when he's, throughout his Arsenal story so far, and for it to end with him lifting the Premier League title. I mean, you can't write that sort of stuff. I mean, if you actually sat someone down and said this is what's going to happen, you'd be carted off to have your head tested. But it could happen, couldn't it? I mean, it would just be an unbelievable story for him, and I couldn't be happier. How many years has he been with us? 6 years, and it's his first ever Player of the Month that he won last month. It's his first ever time he's won it, and I couldn't be happier for him. I really couldn't.
He won an award today as well, didn't he?
Your Player of the Month, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
It's the first one he's ever won.
And he's put a message out. I didn't see it myself, but as we're going live, he's put
Yeah.
a video message out to the fans and all that.
Yeah. So that's where I put my comment about him. The redemption story, and has there ever been a better one? I put it underneath that video. Honestly, I couldn't be happier for him. I couldn't be happier for any player at the moment because of the courage and determination and character that he's shown to come through all this and still be here now, and to finally get his own chant after all these years and the fans to love him once more. I just think it's absolutely brilliant, and long may it continue.
And I think, again,
and also, sorry, one last thing before I say it, one last thing. So I do apologise. Is there a better midfielder in his position in the league at the moment on form?
Well, no. On form. I was coming home from the game with my brother on Saturday, and he actually was in a discussion. He actually said, after that game today, Ryan, you do realise he's now he is the informed player in midfield. Period. Better than more informed than De Bruyne. Listen to all the players. And I said to him, "Look, this is what I wanted to see from day one. This is my frustration. I wanted to see this. But my angst was always the other side of things that we've talked about already, the discipline and this, that, and the other, the discipline, that side of things. And then when the incident with Palace, he's part in that, having to go to the fans in the stadium for idiots online. But my main gripe was discipline. We all knew there was a player there because we see it for his country every time they played. So to now see that, and as you say, no player.
But we know why that problem was now.
No club. I mentioned this yesterday. The only player that comes to mind, and it was brief as well. It was only brief. It happened because it went backwards again. Was Abue. Because remember when Abue was going through a phase where it just weren't working for him. He came on against Wigan, played 10 minutes, and then that 10 minutes was 10 minutes from hell. Everything he touched, done, just went against him. And he got subbed off. He got booed and jeered by the home fans. He was at home against Wigan. He got booed and jeered. He's completely distraught, you could tell. And then by February of that season, he got the fans back on side. He did it laughing this year, like we got behind him again. But then, about 2 months later, he fucked it up, and then he was out the door.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good story, but it wasn't at the level of Granit Xhaka, was it?
No, and that's the
but
thing.
We know
with Granit, it seems like we're at the beginning of where, as I say, that incident, and it's gone full circle all the way till now, and we're now seeing. And I don't see it. I don't touch wood. I don't see it going backwards. I can only see it going forward and getting more and more love week in, week out. And I think what's also got fans realising and getting on the side of Granit. Again, I get going back to it. The Granit, the Amazon documentary that could start the season. It's not just benefited. That the dropping when it didn't just benefit the club as a whole. It benefited certain players, and I think he is one of them because that moment back a couple of years back was touched on.
Yeah,
and he opens up. He actually, if you go back and watch, for anyone who hasn't seen it, go watch it. he does open up about that, how he, in that moment, how he felt. And basically, as far as he was concerned, at one point, he wanted out. It was like Arteta that pulled him back in and said, I need you. We can fix this. We can work together and go from there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
now, look what we got now.
I know. You touched on the fact about all his, all the disciplinary issues that he had. And I think we can see now why that was happening, though, as well. Again, I don't think that was a lot of it was down to his fault. There was a few, maybe. I'm sure we go through them all one by one. We can say that that was purely down to him and nothing else. But a lot of it was down to the fact that we've been playing him in that completely wrong position and leaving him exposed in front of the defence as a last man, where he feels that he has to do everything he can to help the team, and he goes over the top as a result, trying to put out fires here, there, and everywhere, which caused a lot of those issues that we were all pulling our hair out about.
Yeah,
and we know now that that's not his fault, really.
Yeah, and in that documentary as well, in the aftermath of the first leg against Liverpool last year in the semi-final, after he gets sent off, and the next day he was like, "It's not my fault, but you know what, guys? I'll take the response. I'll take the flak. It's all on me. But just so you know, between us, it was X, Y, and Z. If they've if you've done your jobs properly, I'm not left completely exposed. And as you say, having to do that, put my body in the line, basically.
Yeah. And if I didn't do it, he might have scored anyway.
Yeah.
And, he didn't score as a result of it and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know. But he's shown that his character is, you can't question it, really. And a lot of what he said in the past, which got a lot of people's backs up, if you look at it in this cold, hard light of day, it was true anyway. If you're actually man enough to admit when you're wrong as a person as well, a lot of what he said was there's nothing wrong with it. He actually told the truth. So anyway, hats off to him. He's been outstanding. Not only this season, I think I've already mentioned this loads of times on previous pods. I have.
Yeah.
But last season and for a big portion of the season before as well, I think he's been getting better and better. And someone put it in the chat earlier that, it shows you that Arteta has definitely been getting the best out of him. And he not only has he been getting the best out of him, he's actually improved him as well as a player. So, congratulations all round, really. It's been... Because at the moment, who would you swap him for? I know it's crazy to say, but who would you swap Granit Xhaka for right at the moment with the way he's playing and the way he's leading the team? I mean, you wouldn't swap him for many players, would you? Let's be honest. He's totally won me over, won loads of other players over. But there were so many good stories, really, from the game at the weekend and the season as a whole, really. Because I don't even think I've podcasted for this season. I think I've got one game in.
You got the first couple of weeks in,
yeah, and then I haven't podcasted since. So it's just been fantastic to see, and I think we've all. The good thing is, though, we all know like probably our first choice 11 at the moment.
Yeah.
But also, if you changed, say for example, you named your first choice 11, but you wanted to swap out both of the fullbacks, you wouldn't really bat an eyelid, would you? Because you've got players like Tomiyasu and Tierney waiting as backups. Would you have ever imagined in a million years that last season that that Tierney and Tomiyasu would be our backup fullbacks at the moment? They were two of the first names on the team sheet when they were fit. Let's face it, they were. And the fact that they're no longer starters baffles me, to be honest with you. But it's a fantastic situation to be in.
Yeah, and again, that's in terms of Tomiyasu as well. It's a massive credit to Ben White because from match day one, he's been playing that right back role and he's bossed it for most of it. He's absolutely, like people said in the chat earlier, the most informed English defender in the country, in the league, but didn't get picked for the most recent internationals. We'll probably won't get to go to the World Cup, but he's in form. He's versatile. He's adapting to the situation he's in because now Saliba's back. But he's not complaining. He's just getting on with the job. And he's for the majority of the games, he looks solid. And you can't dispute that he deserves to keep starting ahead of Tomiyasu. And that means that now we've got competition at right back. Like you say about Tierney. For his first few years here, it's just been basically him. And we've been trying to find someone to keep him on his toes. Being the most recent was Tavares before this season. But they just weren't the quality enough. Now we brought Zinchenko in, who is that versatile and is good enough. He's now, as you say, he's now our first choice in terms of Zinchenko. He's now our first choice left back. And
yeah, exactly.
It keeps players on. It's competition. But I guess what I wanted. I want competition. I don't want any of my players getting too comfortable in their position and thinking they're safe, that they're guaranteed. They need to know they're going to have to fight every game and every second of every game for their place in the squad.
It's been incredible how defence has performed this season, and yeah, someone's put, I don't think Ben White gets enough credit.
No.
Nobody gets expected. I think he's been outstanding this season, and I actually think he himself is improving game on game as well. I think he's fantastic at the back, and I think the relationship he's got with Saliba on that side, that's so strong. It's really is such a strong partnership he's got there. I also get disappointed with the lack of respect that a lot of fans put on Gabriel, because he made that mistake at the weekend. I think it's ridiculous that people are getting on his back saying, does he need replacing? Is he the weak link in our defence? I think you need that good cop, bad cop type of scenario at the back. You need that aggression in one of your central defenders. Yes, he is. He's not absolutely perfect, Gabriel. He does get a bit hot-headed and make the odd mistake here and there. But you name a player that never ever makes mistakes. I mean, come on, every player makes mistakes. But he's a young player still for a central defender. He's 23, 24 years old, something like that. He's still got his best years in front of him. I think his character is outstanding. The fact that whenever he has made a mistake, he hasn't let his head drop, like he may have done in the couple of years ago. He may have let it affect him for a game or so, but he doesn't do that now. All the players rally around him, and they rally around everyone that makes a mistake, and they just get on with it. And I could get at the weekend after the penalty that he gave away, which wasn't all his fault, like you said, it was a catalogue of errors. To be honest with you, that led to that situation. But he grew in stature throughout the game again, and credit to him for that, because his character and his confidence is getting stronger and stronger as it goes along. And the partnership he's built up with Saliba, I would not want to break that up. I mean, if one of them had, say Gabriel went down and he got injured and Ben White had to step up and next to Saliba, I'd like to see that and see how it works. But he'd have to go some to make a better partnership than they've got at the moment with Saliba and Gabriel. I think they complement each other really, really well. You've got Saliba who glides around, who's calm as anything, and you've got Gabriel who's got that bit of fight and fire and aggression in him. And I just really do think they complement each other brilliantly, and I think it's only going to get better as each season goes on. So I'm really happy with both, and I can't understand, especially when we're top of the league and these things are going well. Some fans just have to have something to moan about, and I've just seen on the odd occasion people moaning about Gabriel, he's too error prone, we need to get a new player in or whatever, and Ben White. And I think you got these fans that just have to be after someone regardless. It just does my head in a bit, but I think. Yeah, Ben White has been one of our outstanding players of the season, along with a number of other players as well.
No, exactly. Yeah, I can't disagree at all with that. And as I say, that's him keeping himself at right back over someone we saw at the start of last season, Tommy Asu. What does that tell you about the guy? But the match day one against Zaha pocketed him. He's pocketed pretty much every winger he's gone up against this season so far, and he's not playing his natural position. And yes, there's going to be times where he gets to play centre back, but he's not. At this moment in time, he's playing in a position where he has played briefly before, but he's not complaining because he's getting match time. No one's complaining; they're getting on with it. But as I say, it's provided healthy, good competition, and we've got. For example, if he was to get injured, we've got someone on Tomiyasu, or if Tomiyasu gets injured, we can now have that reassurance that we've got someone like Ben White that's there that can just slot in and put the performances he has been putting in, and not have that fear of, say, a Cedric, with all due respect, who hasn't played this season. I don't think he has. But to remind me if he has or not. Like we had last year, with Cedric was playing more games than he should have been playing. Basically, we're not having that. We don't have that fear now, and that's going to happen in that position. Cedric will play the season. I'm not having to go with Cedric either, but you could tell in certain games it was one game too many in terms of how many games he was playing. Like he knew he wasn't meant to play his amount of games, and fatigue caught up and cost us at times. We're going back to the game. We're 2-1 up. We're coasting. We're bullying fucking Tottenham at this point. The red card. You got all the media and all the Tottenham going. Most of the media anyway going. It wasn't a red card. I mean, what? Again, I'm blocked forward this time. I've seen the challenge has gone in. Martinelli's down. I couldn't see how bad it was because where I was. I've watched it back since. How's it not a red card?
Exactly.
I'm sorry if Royale, if Emerson Royale is a split second quicker and he has more aggression in that challenge, he could have quite easily snapped Martinelli's metatarsal or worse.
Exactly. He would have snapped his shin in half, and it's almost as if I think who was it? Well, I think it might have been in the Arsenal Vision Boys again in the podcast I mentioned earlier. I think it was Yankee Gunners. Elliot said it's almost a case that you have to be showing bone for it to be for some people to concede that it's actually a red card. Sorry. Right, this is my situation, my take of it, because I was watching the game, obviously, on telly. Initially, I thought, oh, that's a bit of a hard challenge. And then when the ref gave a red, I thought, oh. And I thought, I thought, that's good. I was obviously overjoyed. But I was a bit surprised. And then, like you said, they showed it back, and they're thinking he made no attempt to go for the ball there. He knew exactly what he was doing. He tried to bring him down. He didn't have to go anywhere near him because he was running back towards his own goal, Gabriel Martinelli. And he did that because he was been having it taken out of him since the first minute of the game by Martinelli. And it was pure frustration that he did that. He wanted to leave one on him, as we all like to say. And you also have to use the rule. If that happened to your team, what would you think? And would you want your player to be sent off? Do you think your player should be sent off? Vice versa. And there's no other way around it. It had to be a red card. I mean, because he, like I said, no attempt for the ball. He went to injure the player, and it was obvious when he saw it back. At first I thought, oh, that's a bit generous for us. But when you look at it back, no chance. It wasn't generous at all.
And for me, again, another thing that's pissed me off is people go, "Oh, that changed the game." I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm, you
exactly.
know, I'm thinking, how did it change the game? Sorry, it gave us an extra player advantage over them. That's it. But even at 11v11, we were a superior team. We were dominating them. Even at that point, chance after chance after chance after chance we were creating. They did nothing. So for me, when people go, "Oh, it was a game changer as well," not really, because the outcome would have been the same.
And they, okay, and they, I don't think would have been too affected. And do you know what really pissed me off as well about the game was that as I was watching it, and they'd gone obviously 2-1 down at that point. They'd lost a man, and then he was going to make 5 substitutions at once at one point. Conte, I think it ended up with 4, wasn't it? I think it's 4 that he brought on at once, and basically they chucked in the towel. But Conte, being like the wily old fucker he is, he wanted to make it all about the sending off, like you just said,
Yeah.
and sending off change the game. He wanted to make it about that. So, we've got no chance. But the man sent off, going to make the changes and completely take away the fact that we were dominating the game, and he didn't want it to get any worse. I think it was just after they'd gone 3-1 down that he was going to make all those substitutions. So it was no way was the game changed on the back of that sending off. No way. You know, the way that they play football, the fact that they had a man sent off doesn't really make any difference to them, because they had like at least 9 men behind the ball all the time, and even then Kane was in our half as well. So to actually go back down to lose a man would make no difference to their game plan whatsoever. So they didn't have to chuck the towel in at that point either.
No.
But they did, because they were getting embarrassed.
And even then, we were still, even with all them changes they made to salvage whatever they were trying to salvage, basically, and keep the score down low, we were still dominating them. And then you could say we had the extra man and all that. Tierney came on and had a shot, for crying out loud, from like 20 yards out. Saliba came forward in their own penalty box, had the ball to his feet, and nutmegged their defender. This is brilliant. I'm loving it. But going back to Conte as well, about him making it all about that sending off. Don't you find it a bit ironic how he complains, but when last season he had a go at Arteta for complaining? I don't complain, but Arteta does. He complains too much. I'm sorry, and you just gone and done that. Got off. You're the biggest complainer. You're apart from Klopp. You're the second biggest complainer in the league. All you do is complain. Yeah. But no, it's just lovely to see where we are and our team performing the way we are. As I say, we've reached the magic 20+ point mark already. The stats say that basically any team that reaches this point, the point started by this point, goes on to be in the Champions League the following season. So we're back. Yay, we're back in the Champions League.
Not enough now, mate. Not enough. Got to change your expectations.
I want the title now. Give me my title.
Exactly. So we just got to get the voodoo dolls out for Erling Haaland.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Starting putting the pins in him. Same for Kane. But I'm very, very excited about the way this is going, and even with the message that Granit Xhaka put out, the video message after he won the Player of the Month, he's saying, good things will come. And it's just, I've been saying it for a while now. I've got a feeling that, why couldn't it be our Leicester season, for us this year? Just go and surprise everyone and just keep winning like they did. Remember the surprise week after week after week that season. Everyone was saying, they're going to slip up, though. They're going to slip up. They're going to lose a game.
The bubble's going to burst. It never did.
It never did. It's mad, apart from the fact they lost twice to us. But anyway, that's by the by. But they just kept winning. kept winning and kept winning. And why can't that be us this season? We're playing well enough for that to happen. And the football that we're producing is not, we're not fluky. You know, that when we had that 21 game unbeaten run under Unai Emery, no one ever got carried away with that. Not many fans got carried away with that because it was just, we felt a bit lucky after quite a few of those wins and draws, and it never seemed real, did it? This seems real. Everything we're doing is we can do it again because the football is just working, and everyone knows where everyone else. The relationships going on all around the pitch is just fantastic, and we know that we can do that again next week, and we can do it again the week after, and we can do it again the week after that. And even when we change the team completely, the Europa League, that team plays the same way as the other team did at the weekend.
Yeah.
They all know their roles, and it's all working like a really good machine at the moment. And barring some kind of terrible thing, God forbid, running through the squad and we lose a load of players, it will continue to work that way. And that's what makes me so confident about it. I'm not worried about the weekend coming up against Liverpool. What will be, but I know that we're going to give them a really good game this time.
Yeah.
Completely contrary to where we've gone up against them over the previous few seasons. Everyone was thinking, oh shit, we can just keep it down to at least a 3-goal margin for them. But not this time. I know that we're going to go into that game and give them a really good contest. And I'm really confident we can get something out of it this time. So why can't it be us? And I'm just quietly confident that we're going to go a long way this year. I'm not saying that we're going to beat Man City to the title because they haven't lost a game yet. Just worried about that, but they haven't played us yet. That's one reason why they haven't lost yet.
Yeah.
But I think we can go toe to toe with them throughout the season and just keep that gap to a bare minimum. So yeah, let's see where it takes us.
Yeah, how sickening would that be for all the Tottenham, the golden generation of Tottenham that they've had for the last few years, that branding it the golden generation since '61. Yeah, he finished above us X amount of years, the last 6 or 7 years, whatever it was. Won no trophies. Even in our worst time, we've won trophies in that period with a worse squad or whatever. And then out of nowhere, we've built this squad, and now we're going to do something they haven't managed to do since they came third in the 2-horse race in 2016. That'll make them sick. And then you got to think of Chelsea, all the millions they've spent, new ownership as well, the millions that he's spent, sacking Tuchel, bringing in Graham Potter. Then for us to then do something they should have done last year, but actually going but us pushing all the way, that'll make them sick. United fans hate us, as we hate them, and they are sick as parrots. They're finding Gary Neville apparently, but taking digs, praising Jesus, but then taking digs because he's not Haaland.
Yeah,
that's how salty and bitter Man United fans and pundits are being about Arsenal, because it's killing them that we've got to a point where we went through that banter stage where we were where United are now in terms of performances and results, etc. We were there. We're past that. We surpassed that.
And did you see a lot of the Athletic correspondence before the game, before the North London derby? And they gave us no chance at all. They all said that Spurs would win, and one of them said that with Conte, it's inevitable that they're gonna beat us. And none of them would come back and said, "Oh, sorry about that. We're wrong. No. Arsenal are a much better team." They're obviously not even watched Arsenal. They're just going on what Conte's done in the past. They don't know what Arsenal are doing at the moment. And we're just going to be... I'm just happy that we're just rubbing egg all over their faces as each week progresses. Because none of them give us a chance.
No, and then towards it, Jamie O'Hara, because obviously he made a big point on Friday night saying Conte's got Arteta's number and this, that, and the other, and digging Arteta out because he made mistakes against United. He's not human, apparently. Noah was this morning has brought that up this morning, and basically, well, yes, he's still adamant. He's literally after everything happened on Saturday. Conte still got Arteta's number. He didn't have a chance. He had 61 minutes to impose himself and show he had Arteta's number. He did nothing.
No, totally outcoached.
Yeah, he got outcoached by, with all due respect, again the youngest manager, if not the youngest manager in the league, if not one of the youngest managers in the league, and with all due respect to Conte's experience, a lesser experienced manager, whatever you want to look at it, and they're meant to be the bigger, better team. And taking jabs, we're in the Champions League. You won't be, well, where you're playing, mate, you ain't going to be in Champions League for long. You'll be joining us in Thursday night come February. So keep going.
Yeah, Stephen Denham's right. What he's just put there. If we beat Liverpool, we won't get any credit for it. They'll make excuses for Liverpool. Yeah. That's exactly right, because they'll just say, oh, well, this is a really understrength Liverpool, or they'll just keep talking about the mistakes Liverpool made, blah, blah. They won't give us any praise for actually the win. And that's what's been happening. And I don't know whether you've been watching Liverpool, or whether you watched that game against Brighton. I mean, some of their defending was absolutely atrocious. I mean, honestly, Virgil van Dijk looks like Harry Maguire at the moment. He didn't. The pressing is not there anymore.
No,
and he was just static. I don't know what's going on with Virgil van Dijk, but he's like he's been replaced by his evil brother or something like that. But he just doesn't look like the same player.
No, because I watched because I saw what happened. I watched much of the day, and I've watched it, and I'm thinking, Liverpool gettable, bring on Sunday, because every time Brighton attacked at 1, when they went even at 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, even they got pegged back to 2-1 and 2-all, and they were losing. Every time Brighton attacked, Liverpool looked vulnerable. They looked sketchy defensively. And it's not just Trent. Trent was awful. Don't get me wrong, defensively yet again. But it's say Van Dijk, Robertson, and who was it Matip or
Matip, yeah.
There's just awful. There's no organisation. They're all over the place. It's like Bambi and Ice defending, and they look weak. And the way we are, with our form and the way we've been playing home and away, and again, we've got no travelling this week either. So the players won't be. Our players that do play on Thursday, they won't be shattered either, because we both all the games at home in 8 days. 3 games in 8 days are at home. So no travelling away from home being had over these next few days. And our Arteta and our players, like Jesus, like Saka, like Martinelli, who's going to absolutely crucify Trent, by the way. I'm telling you that now for free. He's crucifying Trent and leaving him for brown bread. We're going to smell blood. We're going to go out there with the intention of, we smell blood, we're going to hurt you. You've hurt us over the last few years. You've done us 4-0 last year at Anfield in the league. Now it's our turn. And I think that's the mentality now. Because with the addition of Jesus and Sanchez, we keep mentioning them too, but does the addition of them two coming from a club like City and that winning mentality, that's not just helped certain players, but the entire squad. It's brought them on another level. And as I say, I think we're going to see Liverpool get what they've been giving us for the last few years. And Salah means. Mark Green just mentioned in the chat about Salah.
I said that before the season started, didn't I? I said that's going to be their Aubameyang moment, an Ozil moment. The worst thing they could have done. I said that, and I predicted they was going to struggle this year because of the changes they're going through. And I said they're not going to be as strong, didn't I? Before my season prediction. And the thing I said about Salah, Mark, I said the same thing. I said and also I said the same thing about Coutinho at Villa. I said now Coutinho, he's not playing for a contract anymore.
No,
he's got that massive contract, giving it to him. Now he can have a cigar on, and the same thing's happening with Salah. And I think Salah's numbers this year are the same as Xhaka's. 2 goals, 3 assists. I think that's what his numbers are. I'm sure I read that somewhere. I might have got that wrong. But I think it was Orbinio put it on Twitter, something like that. But it's a massive mistake for them to give Salah that much money. He hasn't got anything to play for anymore now. He's got what he wanted. So I just think that with Liverpool, their time was always going to come, and they made a lot of changes to that front line this season. Their midfield has been not worrying me because I want them to go downwards, but I've always had this thought about their midfield is going to one day just collapse because of their age curve. They're over the top of the age curve now. I mean, having to play James Milner week in, week out at the moment because of injuries and everything. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, you've got to stop playing when you're about 53 years old. So, I mean, it's going to have come to them at some point. But what shocked me more than anything is their defending. His defending was almost diabolical. And there's always this famous thing hanging over Klopp as well, isn't there, with his seventh season syndrome. Wherever he's been, when he was at Mainz, it collapsed after the seventh season. I think they got relegated. When he was at Dortmund, everyone knows what happened there. They just about escaped relegation. And the same thing's happening to him now. It's mad. So if ever we're going to beat Liverpool, now's got to be the time because, with all due respect to Brighton, their performance up at Anfield was fantastic because obviously they're a good side. But Liverpool are not going to be at Anfield at the weekend when they managed to get back to 3-3. And with all due respect to Brighton, like I say, we are a better team from number 1 to 11 than they are. And if they can cause them that much trouble at the back, I'm sure Arsenal at home, in front of our own crowd, with the players that we've got on show at the weekend, then we're going to cause them even more problems than Brighton did. So I'm very confident going into that game for the first time in ages.
No, exactly.
That we'll actually get one over on them.
Yeah, and it's just like I can't. Actually, after all the pain of course over the last few years, I can't wait. I'm actually again, like I say, I'm looking forward to games now, and I'm confident in my team that they can do something in these games and not just put a performance and hope for the best sort of thing. They're going to turn up today and they're going to actually give everything and leave it on the pitch. Oh, he's gone. Oh, what's happened there? Andrew's gone. Disconnection. See if he comes back. We'll wait for him to come back, guys. I thought it's still killing me. Oh dear! A few you mentioned obviously Coke. Yeah, but about Coca-Cola. I don't drink it. I don't drink Coca-Cola. It's crap anyway. Personally. Oh dear! Iron brew. Oh, I haven't had iron brew in a few months now. But as a kid, I loved it. As a kid, absolutely love iron. I still love it. Don't get me wrong, but I haven't had a drink of iron brew for a few months now. When was it? At some point last season, I can't remember then. But yeah, it was on offer, so I thought, it was a big 2 litre bottle as well. So I was like, okay, cool. That lasted me how long did that last? A few weeks, because as I say, big litre bottle, 2 litre bottle, sorry. But yeah, imagine the irony going into North London Derby, and they partner up with Coca-Cola. And it's just like, yeah, it's just, yeah. Talk about literally bottles, and they bottled it. What happened there?
Just suddenly got kicked off my internet. Absolutely.
There's a chat away. There's suddenly boom. That's me, the big screen. So okay. See if you come back.
Sorry about that.
No worries. It is what it is. I was just saying about people. A few people mentioned about Coca-Cola being the new sponsor, official sponsor.
Yeah,
and all that. The irony
Pepsi
about it
all the way, mate. Pepsi all the way for me.
Yeah, I don't drink Coca. I prefer Pepsi. Better tasting. Also, Iron Brew. I love Iron Brew.
Yeah, Iron Brew Extra. That's really nice, actually. Nice.
Oh dear! But I was going to say, what was I going to say? Yeah, going into Thursday, you said earlier, you'd make a few changes. But what changes would you obviously? I mean, apart from Partey, the obvious one we mentioned before, who else would you rest ahead of Sunday? Just have him on the bench just in case. But
yeah, I mean, with regards to the defence, I wouldn't want to change too much in terms of that. I'd probably change the two fullbacks. So I'd bring in Tomiyasu and I'd bring in Tierney. But I'd like to keep the central pairing as it is. And if things are going to plan, then maybe take one of them off or both of them off around a sort of 60-minute mark to give them a bit of a break. But I'm wary, very, very wary of taking Bodo Glimt too lightly because I think they are a really good side. I'd definitely rest Partey and play Sambi. It's a funny one with Xhaka. I mean, we haven't really got a good replacement for him at the moment. Whether we play, because I think Erdegaard will get another rest, so Vieira will definitely play. I think Saka will get a rest. I think Marquinhos definitely deserves another go as well because he was fantastic in the last one, wasn't he?
Against Zurich,
He played brilliantly. Really enjoyed that game. And from there, it's whether Reece Nelson gets to go. I don't know whether he will. I think it'll probably stick with Martinelli. Maybe give Reece Nelson a run out after 60 minutes or so, and then play Nketiah up front as well. But maybe Xhaka plays again as well, which is, it's asking for trouble, really. We've said earlier, and I don't want to jinx it, touch wood again, but he doesn't get injured, but we can't take that totally for granted because we don't want to lose him. So we'll have to see. I mean, like what Greeny said, Nelson, I would probably give him a start as well, Greeny. So, but I don't think he will. But he should definitely get a good half an hour at the end of the game. Hopefully, things are going to plan.
Yeah.
But I can't really see many more changes than that, to be honest with you. But that's a fair few I've mentioned there.
Yeah.
And that I'd be happy with. But I wouldn't want to put. It's players like Holding, they do need minutes, and I totally get that. Totally get it. But like I said, I'm just a little bit wary. We cannot afford to slip up, especially in this home game against Bodo Glimt, because they are going to play well. And I think people have been saying that PSV are our main threat for this in this group, and it may well turn out to be the case. But I think that I'll put Bodo Glimt right up there as a sort of equally dangerous team as them, as PSV, to be honest with you, because of what they've done in the past. They've turned over some good teams in the Europe so far in the last couple of seasons. I don't want to be one of them. No. So that's all I'm saying. Holding does need the minutes, but I would rather give him half an hour at the end of the game, or even the second half, depending on how we're getting on in the match. And so give him the minutes that way, rather than from the start. That's just my personal view. But I would change both of the fullbacks because they've got amazing quality fullbacks to come in as well.
Yeah. Also got Stefan in the chat says this period of Arsenal doing well is bloody outrageous, to be honest. I want the moaning back. I now have to set aside myself with United channels for such amusement. What the fuck is going on? Hey, we're a well-run, organised club. What can I say?
Yeah.
Oh dear, they're talking about fucking Fosters and Studders now in the chat. Oh god.
Wife beater.
Oh my days. In terms of first, I have to agree. I wouldn't make too many changes. The odd player here and there, but not too many. Just and if we do end up, like, say, half hour in 3-0 up, come half time, start from the half time whistle, second half. Bring on some of the second rate players and the ones that are going to start, the ones that have definitely started on Sunday. Get them off and get them rested and ahead of that game. Get ahead of that game, but only if we are coasting.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Before we go, I've now got to fucking find everything, get it all back together again. Bear with me 1 second as I talk about the giveaways again. One of them, there's no point of you entering, Andrew, because you've already got the book.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh dear. The other one you can enter, because you haven't got this one yet, as far as I'm aware, unless you tell me different.
No, I answered the other one.
Yes. But for the one that was launched on Saturday, sorry. Again, if you want to, this is running from between now and the 2nd of December. Yeah, words out. Basically, it's a signed copy from the man himself, and Andrew will back me up. You've got your own copy via myself.
Yeah.
David Dean signed book from his new book. There's a few of you have already entered, but if you haven't already, all you got to do to enter to be a subscriber to the channel, and basically type in the comments now whilst we're live, or in the comments box afterwards, #Spuds are shit, and you're entered into that one. And as I said, that runs until the 2nd of December, and with the idea of the 5th of December, the winner will be announced on the 5th, and hopefully you'll be able to get it by Christmas, so you've got an extra something for Christmas basically yourself. And lastly, 1 second, this is the one that's been launched as of now basically, a signed copy of Paul Davies' book.
Oh, wicked.
And it's there, it's all signed for. Again, if you want to enter it, you've got to be a subscriber, obviously. And for that one, North London is red. And you want to enter that, North London is red. And again, runs till the 2nd of December. Winner announced at the same time as the David Dean one. And yeah. Also, as I said before, I've been talking to his Paul Davies, his representatives, and the idea is he's coming on the channel. He wants to come on. He'll be coming on probably more likely during the World Cup. Obviously, promote his new book and talk all things Arsenal. His time at Arsenal as a player, and how he feels about Arsenal as we stand.
Fantastic.
But as we get a date for that, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it is in the works that he does want to come on, and we're working with his people to get that sorted.
Nice one, mate. Great.
Oh dear. Oh, Stefan's entered. Such a shit. So Stefan's now put himself forward for the David Dean one. As I say, for David Dean, it's Spuds are shit, and for the Paul Davies one, North London is red. And basically, yeah, as I say, you've got a few months, but still. And Mark Winnie's put his own unique touch on it as well. Oh, Spuds are worse than shit. Oh dear. But Andrew, I know, as you say, you've been away for a few weeks in terms of podcasting. You're now back as of tonight. You're doing your own podcast tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, yeah. So please come along, everyone that's watching. Come along to my channel tomorrow night, 7:30, from Dial Square to Where. Back with a bang, with more of the same. Got some good guests coming on tomorrow. Obviously, yourself as well, Ryan.
Yeah.
With one of those good guests. And yes, a few others for us to have a good chat about not just the North London derby, but the season as a whole. I'm catching up on that myself as well. Thoughts about that, thoughts about other news that's coming up, and the games coming up in the weekend and Thursday and the weekend. So yeah, come over and give us some support tomorrow, guys, at 7:30 on my channel.
Yeah. As I said, I'll be there. So again, if you haven't already, go subscribe to Andrew's channel, Dial Square to Where. And in terms of this channel, we won't be back. We'll be back on Thursday for the match day watch along for the Europa League game. Friday, we're doing a watch along for the England win versus USA at Wembley. A sellout Wembley, by the way. I keep saying that. It's mad. European champions versus the world champions. Potential World Cup final there if we play our cards right. And then Saturday, match of the day streams we always do, keeping an eye on our rivals and all that jazz. And then the main event on Sunday, Arsenal v Liverpool. 4 o'clock we'll be going live, half hour before kickoff. Go through all the teams as we usually do, and have a bit of a laugh along the way. And then obviously the podcast for that will be the next day on, this time next week, basically. Also, I just want to say a big shout out to Steve as well. He was meant to come on, but he wasn't feeling too well, and he obviously didn't want to come on and not be at his best, basically. So I hope he makes a full recovery and have him back in a couple of weeks, because next week he's be away in Florida. All right, for some nice weather. Well, I say that actually. It should be
get well soon, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Andrew, see, you've entered the Paul Davis one, so yeah, you're the front runner as it stands. And I think Stefan's just subscribed because he thought he was, but now he is.
Top man, Stefan. Top man. Come over and join us tomorrow.
Yeah. And actually, about Sunday as well, with the game as well. Either this Sunday or the following Sunday, mine and Andrew's Q&A, we'll be making a comeback.
Yeah,
either this Sunday or the following Sunday. Obviously, got to get time sorted, but yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we'll have a chat about that off air.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But apart from that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, before you leave, do smash the like button and do share the link around as well, and promote it as much as you can on your end as well. It's massively appreciated, because the more you guys promote it, the more new eyes come in, and the quicker we can build this community up that we're building here, and have have more football discussions in the chat, back and forth, and that's what we always do. Apart from that, I'll see you on the other side. Obviously tomorrow on Andrew's channel, and then on Thursday here, back on Thursday for the. I think it's a normal time evening kickoff, because it's at home. So about half hour before kickoff, we'll be going live for that. But until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And as always, up the Arsenal. And remember,
come on, you Gunners.
Fucking North London is red. Come on, you Gunners.
They get battered in.